Many teachers teach phonics using an incidental approach in which they insert a phonics lesson into other lessons as unfamiliar words arise. Research indicates that this is not the most effective way for students to increase their phonics skills. Research suggests that explicit, systematic phonics instruction is most effective for beginners. In explicit, systematic phonics instruction, a body of phonics content, letter-sound correspondence, and common word patterns is identified, logically sequenced, and directly taught. There are 5 approaches to explicit, systematic phonics instruction. In synthetic phonics, learners are taught the letter-sound correspondences and then are taught to blend the sounds to identify words. In analytic phonics, learners do not pronounce the sounds in isolation. They analyze the sounds in a word that is already identified. In phonics through spelling, learners break a word into its sounds and then identify the corresponding letters to spell the word. In phonics in context, learners are taught to use both letter-sound correspondences and context clues to identify unfamiliar words. In phonics by analogy, learners use parts of words they already know to identify unfamiliar words by analogy, for example, word patterns. You'll now see a teacher working with a learner using an explicit, systematic approach to phonics instruction. Okay, so what word does d-a-g make?
Dog.
Great. And can you try that? So, what word does d-a-g? D-a-g.
Okay. D-a-g.
And what's the word?
Dog.
Good. What sounds do you hear in the word dog?
D-a-g.
Do you hear? Okay. So in dog, is it dog or dodge?
Dog.
Okay, so we hear that last sound is a
J, like a G.
So I hear you say like a G, but then I hear you say J. And you know what? And that's the tricky thing with the letter G, because it can be J or it can be G. It's one of those sounds that can
like
be both.
G.
But in this word, dog,
G.
do you hear a hard sound or a soft sound?
Hard sound.
Hard sound. And the hard sound is
G.
Good. Okay, so for this it's d-a-g.
G.
Excellent. Okay. And again, what sounds do you hear in the word dog?
D-a-g.
Good. And then how do you spell the word dog?
D-o-g.
Okay. See, the spelling is really, it's the sounds that can be tricky. Okay. And in this sentence, can you read that sentence for me?
The dog have a color.
The dog has a color.
Oh, okay. It's the dog have a collar. It sounds like color, but it's collar.
Yep. Okay, and how did you know that? How did you know that it wasn't color? Once you read it, you read it as color, but why did you know that that wasn't right?
Because of the spelling.
Okay, because of the spelling. And what else? Did it make sense?
No, it didn't make sense when I said color.
Okay, because the dog has a
collar.
Okay, that makes more sense than the dog having a color. Okay, good. So you kind of figured it out by context. We were talking about context the other day, and so that's, you look at all the other words around you in the sentence, and then you figure out from what makes sense. Okay, good. Okay, and now let's look at, oops, we need to get more letters here. So we've got our OG, and then we've got our D, and now we want, oh, you know what? Sorry. We want to lay out all of our consonants. Okay, we're only going to use the O as our vowel, but we're going to lay out all of these, because I'm going to ask you to make some words up. Okay, so you know how we were working with this word pattern og?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so og is,
Dog.
oh, wait, you're getting ahead of me. Okay, og, good, okay. And what if we put the D in front?
It's dog.
Okay, good. And then take away the D, and then put the F and the R. What if, and then what do we have then?
Frog.
Great, okay. And now let's take away that and put the B.
Bog.
Great. What other words can you make with the word pattern, this og or
Log.
log? Good. Okay, so we've got log,
Hog.
hog. Excellent. Anything else?
What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Log.
So
Hog.
we've used these.
And no
used
such word
that.
as tog, is it? No. Smog.
Oh, smog. Excellent.
S-O-G.
So what do you hear in that smog?
Oh, M.
Very good.
S-O-M.
Mm-hmm. And how do you spell smog?
S-M-O-G.
Very good. Okay. What else would go with og?
Jog.
You already had fog.
Jog.
Great. And you already did L, right? We've got some double letters here.
I think that's about it.
Okay. Nice work. Great. Okay. All instruction requires immediate and plentiful practice by students for long-term retention and rapid and automatic application. With the word you just sounded out?
They feel exhausted when they get home at night. Okay.
Okay, that makes sense?
Yeah.
Great. So you figured it out just by stopping and trying to sound out that word that tripped you up.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay. So let's continue. And you know what? You also had some trouble with this word right here. So let's look at this word here.
Okay.
And try a different vowel sound with
Get.
that word. Okay. Okay. Yes. At first you said
Got.
got. Okay. And then say, well, you know the other vowels. What are the vowel sounds?
A-E-I-O-U.
Okay. Those are the names of the letters, right? So yeah. So you might try the a, I, ah, ooh, and we know that vowels make lots of different sounds, but those are basically right. So another way, if you're having trouble with a word, is to say, okay, wait, so, let me stop and see if I can substitute a different vowel sound. Will that help me recognize it? Okay, and then, put the parts together again, see if it recognizes, if you can recognize then if it makes sense at that point. Okay, so that's another strategy that you can use. So just in that one sentence, we used two different strategies. So we sounded the word out from the left to the right, and then we tried substituting vowel sounds to see if it looked right, if you recognized it, and if it made sense then. Okay, and then if neither of those things work, then try to read the sentence again. Okay, and try to think of a word that would make sense. Okay, so if you just weren't able to get exhausted, another way of trying to figure out what that sentence means is from context, and we talked about context. So again, when you just can't sound it out, your decoding skills just aren't working, the phonics aren't kicking in, right? So then you want to look for other methods, and that's to use the words around the word that you're having trouble with and try to figure out what it means from that. So do you think that you could have done that in that sentence?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think you kind of got, you did get to the end of the sentence. Did you have a vague idea of what it was about? Without that word, or was that word pretty key?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's another way of doing it. And, as a last resort, if this isn't helping, then what might you do? If you have your tutor or a teacher or somebody around you, what's another?
Well, basically, you can get a dictionary
Yep.
to get for the breakdown of the word, so you can sound it out.
Absolutely. Dictionaries are wonderful things. And if you don't happen to have a dictionary, but there are people around you,
You can get help.
absolutely. Just ask for help. That's
Yeah.
your last resort. You
Right.
want to try to figure it out on your own. But
Yeah.
but always, if it's really important and you want to
Yeah.
know, then ask somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's that.